The cold that could kill the cold on planet Glycera was not like Earth's cold. It wasn't just freezing, it was alive. It crept into bones, broke machines, and killed within minutes, inside a small shelter. Surrounded by snow and ice, a human man named Logan slept. He had no clothes on, not even a blanket. Just a soft thermal sleeping pad under him. His body heat alone kept the shelter warm. Now, the shelter was powered, but weak, and only worked if no outside air got in. Logan was used to it. He was trained for this. A survivalist, a scout, an explorer. But what he didn't know was he was not alone anymore. Outside, crawling through the snow, was an alien girl. She was small, shaking, and her skin was turning blue. Her name was Sierra. She had escaped from something terrible. Her clothes were torn, her feet bare, and her arms covered in burns. She saw the glowing light of Logan's shelter through the storm. She had no choice. If she didn't find warmth, she would die. The cold had already claimed her group. She was the last. Sierra pressed her fingers against the door panel. It didn't open. She tried again. Weaker this time. Nothing. Then, by some miracle, the wind triggered the sensor. The door hissed open for just 1 second. She fell in, face first, onto the warm floor. The door closed behind her. The warmth hit her like fire. She coughed, cried, and crawled forward. She looked around, and her glowing alien eyes found him. A human male, sleeping, bare, breathing softly. She knew this was his shelter. She knew he might kill her, but she couldn't turn back. She moved slowly, crawling over the floor. Her body was ice. She needed heat. Now, she didn't care anymore. She pulled herself beside him, then, carefully, over him, her body touched his skin and, for the first time in 2 days, she felt warmth. She didn't sleep. She just lay there, barely breathing, eyes open, heart racing, waiting for the human to wake up. Logan woke slowly. He felt something strange, warm, soft, different. He opened one eye, then both, and saw her, an alien girl, almost lying on top of him. Her eyes wide open, terrified. They both froze, neither moved. Then Logan spoke, calm and low. "Who are you?" Sierra didn't answer. She shook her head slowly. Her lips were cracked, her voice gone. She looked like a ghost. Logan looked at her more closely. She was not an enemy. She wasn't holding any weapon. She wasn't even wearing shoes. "You're freezing," he said quietly. He didn't push her away. Instead, he reached slowly for a blanket from the side wall. He covered her with it, and himself too. Sierra's eyes filled with water. She had never expected kindness, especially from a human. "You're safe now," Logan said. "I won't hurt you." She didn't understand every word, but she understood the tone. She nodded. Then, at last, closed her eyes. Logan didn't sleep again. He stayed awake, watching her breathe, wondering who she was, where she came from, and why she looked like someone who had run from hell. The storm outside howled louder, but inside, the shelter was quiet. Two beings from different worlds, lying side by side, no longer strangers, just survivors, sharing one fragile warmth. Morning would bring questions, danger, and choices, but for now, they had survived the night, together. And it all started because the cold outside could kill, but the warmth of a human heart could save even an alien. The morning after the storm, written in third-person style. 800+ words, using simple and basic English with full suspense and emotional depth. The first light of morning filtered through the frozen cracks of the shelter's reinforced wall outside. The storm had calmed, but inside, the air felt heavy, not cold, but full of silent questions. Logan sat up slowly, careful not to wake the alien girl sleeping beside him. Her face, even though pale and bruised, looked calm now. Her breathing was steady, for the first time since arriving on this brutal planet. She was not shivering. Logan pulled on his thermal jacket, then crouched next to her. He didn't know what species she was. He had seen dozens of aliens across colonies, but none quite like her. She looked humanoid, with soft skin like ice blue. Porcelain, her hair was silver and long, tangled from the wind, and her ears. Small, pointed, with burn marks at the tips, she stirred. Blinking her glowing purple eyes, her hand moved to her chest, and she sat up fast, panicked. But Logan raised both hands calmly. "Hey, hey, easy," he said gently. "You're safe here." She looked around, blinking slowly, trying to make sense of the warmth, the quiet, and his kindness. Then her eyes locked onto his, confused, guarded, but something in them softened. "Name?" Logan asked, tapping his chest. "Logan," she hesitated, then touched her own chest. "Sierra, Sierra," Kay repeated with a nod. Her name rolled off his tongue like a whisper of snow. She looked down, noticing that the blanket still covered them both. She quickly pulled it around her tightly, covering as much of her skin as possible. Her cheeks, faintly tinted violet, turned darker, embarrassed maybe. Logan noticed, but said nothing. Instead, he offered her a water pouch. She took it with trembling hands. She sipped carefully, as if she wasn't sure if it was real. After a long pause, she spoke again slowly. Broken English. "You help me." Logan nodded. "You were freezing," he said, pointing to the storm outside. "You'd have died." Sierra looked down, her expression distant. "Was ready for death," she whispered. Then she raised her eyes. "But you warm?" Logan didn't smile. The way she said, "It's so honest, so simple cut, deeper than expected." He looked at her hands, small and bruised, holding the water pouch like it was treasure. "Are you hurt?" he asked, pointing to her burns. She nodded once, slowly. Logan carefully opened the medkit, then sat beside her. "May I?" he asked, reaching for her arm. She tensed, then gave a small nod. He cleaned the burns gently, applied a soothing gel, and wrapped them. She winced once but didn't pull away. Her eyes never left his face. "No one helped before," she whispered. "Only hit." Logan felt anger rise in his chestnut at her. But at whoever did this to her, he wanted to know more. But he also didn't want to scare her. "Who hurt you?" he asked softly. Sierra hesitated, then said just one word. "Tribe." Logan blinked. "Your people." She shook her head. "No, not mine now." "Exile." The word hit hard. Exile. Alone. Cast out. Hunted. Now he understood the fear in her eyes when she first saw him. She expected more pain, more cruelty, but instead, she found him a human sleeping bear. Unarmed, unaware, and yet, he became her only hope. Suddenly, the shelter's warning light blinked. A motion sensor had been triggered outside. Logan stood quickly, grabbing his jacket and rifle. He checked the panel. 2 figures, approaching slowly from the east, too slow to be animals, too careful to be wanderers. "Are they yours?" he asked, looking at Sierra. Her face went pale. "No," she said, almost a whisper. "Hunters." Logan made a choice in that moment. He didn't ask command for permission. He didn't raise his rifle toward her. Instead, he looked her in the eyes and said, "Then we hide." Sierra stared at him, surprised. "You? Not give me?" He shook his head. "No, you stay." He opened a hidden hatch beneath the floor. Emergency storage. It was tight but warm and shielded from scanners. He helped her inside, handed her food and water. "Stay quiet," he whispered. "I'll deal with them." Sierra hesitated, then reached up and touched his hand. Softly, gently. "Thank you," she whispered, then disappeared into the dark compartment. Logan stood up, rifle ready, face calm. He took a deep breath. He didn't know who the 2 strangers were. But he knew one thing: that girl didn't crawl. Over him to harm him, she crawled over him to live. And now, he would fight to make sure she could keep living, even if it meant turning against his own. Her scars and his questions, the shelter door slid shut behind the two strangers. They wore heavy armor and gray-tinted visors. No expressions could be seen beneath the frost-covered glass. Logan stood straight, rifle strapped across his chest. Pretending nothing was wrong. "Report," one of them said in a flat voice. "Scan showed movement near your position." Logan didn't blink. "Storm's dying down," he replied. "Probably a false reading. Snow shifting under the wind." The taller one looked around, scanning the walls, the floor, the heat levels. "Strange. Your temperature reading looks higher than it should for a solo outpost." Logan shrugged. "I sleep warm," he replied, smirking slightly. The second soldier didn't laugh. Instead, he stepped closer to Logan's gear pile and bent down. "Scanning it. You're not hiding anything, are you, Corporal?" Logan didn't flinch. "Nope. Just my cold bare butt and some leftover rations." The two looked at each other for a moment, then turned away. "Fine," the lead one said, "but..." "Stay alert, Command says a fugitive alien female escaped Sector 12. They want her alive." For interrogation, Logan's jaw tightened slightly. But he nodded. "Got it." The two soldiers stepped back into the snow and disappeared into the white. As soon as the door closed, Logan dropped his smile and rushed to the hidden hatch. He opened it gently, and Sierra peeked out, her eyes wide with fear. "Gone," he whispered. "You're safe." She slowly crawled out, clutching the blanket close. Her eyes scanned the room, still uncertain. Logan sat down across from her. Quiet for a moment, then finally asked, "What did they do to you?" Sierra looked away. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she stared at her hands, still bruised and burned. Born in clean place," she said slowly. "Shining walls, white lights. But not home." Logan nodded slowly, letting her speak. "At her pace, not parents. They made me," she continued, pointing to her chest. "Lab child. Test child. No name." Logan frowned. "You were grown in a lab." She nodded. "Programmed. To feel no pain, no fear." Logan tilted his head. "But you feel pain now." Sierra gave a small, broken laugh. "Yes. The experiments failed." She pulled the blanket away from her back and turned. Logan's breath caught. Long. Thin scars ran down her back like lightning marks. Some looked like burn lashes, others like surgical cuts. "They say I've broken." "Throw me away," she whispered. "They hunt me to erase mistake." Logan's hands curled into fists. They threw her out like garbage because she wasn't perfect. He couldn't imagine being made in a lab, trained like a machine. And then, abandoned just for being human-like. "You're not broken," he said firmly. "You're alive, Sierra." She looked up at him, as if his words surprised her. No one had called her that before. Not broken. Not mistake, just alive. Then she asked, something he didn't expect. "You think I'm still useful?" Logan blinked. "Useful." He repeated, "You're not a tool. Sierra, you don't need to be useful to deserve to live." Sierra's lip trembled slightly. She turned her head quickly, but he still saw the tear that rolled down her cheek. "I don't know who raised you," Logan said softly, "but they lied to you." She stayed silent. But the way her shoulders relaxed told him his words were sinking in. After a while, Logan opened a ration pack and shared it with her. She sniffed it suspiciously, then took a bite. Her eyes lit up. "Sweet," she said with a smile. Logan chuckled. "It's processed chocolate protein," he replied. "Basically junk, but better than starving." They sat near the heater for hours. No alarms, no voices. Logan looked at shared silence. Logan looked at her hands. Each finger had small healing cuts, probably from trying to climb metal walls or escape some lab. He reached out slowly. "May I see your arm again?" She flinched just slightly then nodded. He unwrapped the bandage gently, applied new salve, and cleaned the skin. "You don't have to be afraid when someone touches you," he said. "I'm not going to hurt you." Sierra looked at him for a long time, then whispered, "I believe you." It wasn't just trust. It was the beginning of something rare, a bond not of race or orders but of two souls who were alone in the universe, now slowly learning. They might not have to be alone anymore. Outside, the snow began to fall again. But inside the shelter, it was warm. Not just from heaters, but from the quiet beginning of something neither of them could name yet. The fire they shared, the fire wasn't real. Not flames, not wood. But heat panels built into a portable circle-old human tech designed to mimic a campfire. Logan set it in the center of the shelter and activated it. It gave off a soft orange glow and a steady, warm hum. Sierra sat across from him, wrapped in the thickest blanket they had. Her legs were still too weak to stand long. Her burns were healing, but the deeper wounds, the ones no gel could reach, remained untouched. She stared at the artificial fire with curiosity, like sun. She asked softly, tilting her head. Logan smiled. "Not quite. But it tricks the brain into thinking you're not freezing to death." She didn't fully understand, but she nodded anyway. Then she reached her hands toward the heat. Her long, pale fingers hovered near the warm air, as if afraid to take too much. Logan handed her a warm, drink-heated electrolyte broth. It wasn't tasty, but it helped her body recover. Sierra sipped it, and her eyes widened slightly. "Warm inside too," she whispered. Logan sat down next to her. Skier now half-packed just in case they had to run again. Outside, the wind was quiet. The storm had passed, but danger still hung in the cold air like fog. Sierra looked at him across the light. "You not ask why I climb you," she said suddenly. Logan raised an eyebrow. "I figured you were freezing." She looked down. "Yes, but also wanted to feel." She struggled for the word, then whispered, "Safe." Logan nodded slowly. "You did what you had to do." Sierra shook her head. "No. I chose you." That made him pause. He wasn't sure what she meant, at least. Not completely, but her voice carried weight, like she had seen something in him that others didn't show her. He didn't push further. Instead, he shared his own story. "I used to be part of Recon Unit 7. Logan began. Cold planets, dangerous ruins, hostile creatures, you name it. Sierra listened, her eyes wide. "I thought I was strong. Until one mission went wrong," he continued. "My partner froze to death just a few feet away from me." He looked at the firelight, remembering, I had gear, I had heat, but I couldn't save him. Sierra's hand moved slightly. She placed her fingers over his quietly, gently. He didn't pull away, for once. He didn't feel alone in the memory. "You carry pain too," she said. Logan nodded. "Yeah, I guess we both do." They sat in silence again. But this time, it wasn't uncomfortable. It was warm, like the fire between them after a while. Sierra opened her blanket and invited him closer. "Cold still comes when quiet stays," she whispered. Logan hesitated, then moved beside her. They sat under the same cover, shoulder to shoulder. Not for survival anymore, but something else. Sierra leaned her head gently on his arm. "Humans feel deep," she murmured. "I never saw that before." Logan smiled a little. "Aliens always thought we were either dangerous or emotional." "Maybe both." She giggled softly. It was the first real laugh he had heard from her. Light, quiet, beautiful. Then, suddenly, she tensed. Her eyes locked onto the small radar screen on the far wall, blinking red. Movement. "Outside," she whispered. Logan stood, serious again. He checked the radar, just one dot, slow, circling the area, not patrol. Too slow for that. He handed her a small stunner pistol. "Stay hidden if I signal," he said. But she stood beside him. "I not hide again," she whispered. "Not when I have fire now." He looked at her looked. She wasn't just surviving anymore. She was standing, even if her legs shook. Her eyes didn't just show fear now. They showed fire too. The movement outside passed by, then turned back. It was a scouting drone. Logan ducked behind the panel, and Sierra knelt beside him. The drone scanned the area, paused, then moved away. They both exhaled. Safe, for now. Logan smiled again. "See? Fire scares away even machines." Sierra leaned into him again. "Yes. But only when shared." Outside, the planet was still frozen, but inside that small shelter, with fake fire, 2 scarred hearts, and quiet courage, something real was warming up. Neither of them said it yet, but they both knew they were no longer just as strangers in the cold. They were becoming something worth holding on to. Caught between 2 worlds, the next morning came with silence. No alarms, no patrols, just cold light shining through the frost-covered window. Logan packed supplies carefully. He wasn't waiting for orders anymore. He had made his choice. Sierra sat on the edge of the bed, now dressed in warmer clothes. Logan's spare gear, oversized but clean. Her legs were stronger, though she still moved with care. She watched him with quiet eyes, the fire from last night still glowing inside her. "Where? Go?" she asked, wrapping her arms around herself. Logan looked at her, serious. "Somewhere safe," he said. "This shelter won't stay secret forever." Sierra lowered her head. She knew it. She had known it since the drone passed. Logan walked over and crouched in front of her. "There's an abandoned research outpost 3 days from here," he explained. "It's hidden in the cliffs. Off the map." She blinked. "Alone?" He shook his head. "Not if you come with me." She looked at him, confused. "You not? Leave me." He placed a hand gently over hers. "No, Sierra, I'm not leaving you." That single sentence meant more than she could show. Her lips trembled, and she nodded. They moved quickly, packing food, heating packs, medical supplies, and weapons. Logan handed her a small knife, light but sharp. "You know how to use this." Sierra smiled faintly. "I know too well." Before they left, Logan sent one final message to base. Just a routine weather report. Nothing more. A lie. A clean break. He shut the transmitter off right after. He was no longer following orders. He was following something stronger, his conscience. As they stepped out into the icy winds, Logan adjusted Sierra's hood. Her silver hair had been tied back in a short braid. Neat and strong, she looked like a soldier now. Not a lab rat, not a fugitive, a survivor. The walk through the snow was long, quiet, and tense. Every step took them further from everything Logan once knew. His rank, his duty, his name in the system. It all meant nothing now. That night, they camped inside a small cave. Logan set up a temporary shield dome, then built the portable fire again. Sierra sat close, tired but calm. "I never thought human would protect me," she said suddenly. "I thought maybe use me." Logan looked at her across the light. "Why?" "Because that's what others do," she said. "Use the broken until they break more." Logan's voice was steady. "You're not broken." She gave a soft smile. "You keep saying." "Maybe I believe now." They ate quietly, shared small stories. Logan told her about Earth's real sun, real trees, animals that weren't trying to kill you. Sierra told him about her dreams, things she imagined, but was never allowed to chase. "I wanted to fly," she whispered. "They said flying is for perfect ones." Logan looked up at the stars above the dome. "Maybe we'll fly one day," he said. "Together." She looked at him not with fear, but something softer. She leaned her head on his shoulder again. And he didn't move away, but peace didn't last long. Early next morning, they were crossing a frozen ridge when Syrah suddenly stopped. She placed a hand on Logan's chest. "Wait," she whispered. He froze. She crouched low, placing her ear against the ice, then looked up. Sound. Below, Logan narrowed his eyes. He activated the scanner. 2 heat signatures moving fast beneath the ice. "Subsurface hunters," he muttered. "They're tracking us underground." He grabbed Syrah's hand. "Run quiet, but fast." They dashed over the ridge, staying light on their feet. Cracks formed behind them, sharp snapping sounds like thunder. The ice shifted, then exploded upward as a beast burst through long. Armored and hungry, Logan turned and fired. The plasma bolt hit the creature's side. It screamed, retreated. Then came again. Syrah pulled her knife, eyes sharp, no longer helpless. The beast lunged. Logan grabbed a flare and lit it. The sudden fire blinded the creature for a second, just enough time. Syrah leaped beside him and stabbed her blade deep into the beast's side. It roared in pain, smashing into the rocks before vanishing back underground. Breathing hard, they looked at each other, then laughed, not because it was funny, but because they were alive and they were together. "You fight like fire, Logan," said Syrah, wiped blood from her cheek. "You give me reason," she replied. They kept moving, closer to the hidden outpost. And with each step, Logan knew something for sure. He hadn't just saved her, she had saved him too. Not from death, but from loneliness, from following orders without meaning. Now, he was caught between 2 worlds. But the one with her felt more real than anything he ever had before. When the ice breaks, the wind howled like a wild animal. The snow moved sideways, biting at their faces. Logan tightened the scarf around his mouth. Beside him, Syrah's silver braid danced in the wind. But she walked with calm steps. They were close, only a few hours from the old research outpost hidden in the cliffs. The place Logan once found during a solo mapping mission, forgotten, secret, and hopefully safe. The frozen ground beneath them groaned. It was flat, white, and endless, but too perfect. Logan stopped and pointed ahead. "Ice shelf," he warned. "Look solid but hollow under." Syrah crouched, pressed her palm to the ground. She closed her eyes for a moment, then nodded. "Thin here," she said, tapping gently. "Safer." That side, they moved slowly, staying close to each other. But suddenly crack. The ground beneath Logan's foot split. "Don't move," Syrah shouted, grabbing his arm. But the crack widened. The ice gave way, and Logan fell straight down into a dark tunnel beneath the surface. He landed with a heavy thud, gasping as the cold hit his lungs. Snow dust and broken ice rained down after him. "Logan!" Syrah screamed from above. She dropped to her stomach. Reaching down, he was alive. But his leg was pinned under a slab of ice. "I'm okay," he said, his voice strained, just stuck. Syrah looked around quickly, then pulled the rope from her pack. She tied one end to a frozen tree root nearby, then slid down carefully. The tunnel was silent, except for their breathing. Strange glowing moss lit the space in faint green light. Syrah knelt beside him, eyes full of worry, leg broken. Logan shook his head. "No, just crushed you to move this." They worked together, gritting their teeth. Syrah used all her strength to shift the heavy ice while Logan pushed. Finally, with a loud snap, it shifted and he pulled his leg free. But the pain made him collapse. He clenched his jaw, trying not to scream. Syrah ripped a piece of cloth from her own tunic and wrapped it around his thigh, then placed her forehead to his, whispering, "You not die, okay?" Logan chuckled weakly. "I wasn't planning to." They rested a moment, then looked deeper into the ice tunnel. It stretched far, glowing softly like a hidden path. Logan looked up at the hole they fell through. "Too high to climb in his condition. We go forward," Syrah said firmly. "Path leads." Somewhere, Logan trusted her. Even now, in pain, he nodded. They walked slowly. Logan leaning on her for support. Sierra never complained, not once. She walked steady, strong. Like she had carried heavier weight before. As they moved, the walls of the tunnel showed strange markings, not natural carved, symbols, old and unfamiliar. Sierra reached out and traced one with her fingers. Language of first ones. She said, "My creators stole their knowledge." Logan stared at the markings. "Is this where you were made?" She shook her head. "No. But maybe this is where I belong." The tunnel opened into a frozen cavern. In the center was a massive crystal pillar, glowing blue with warmth. The air changed. It wasn't just cold, was humming, alive. Logan collapsed near the pillar, exhausted. Sierra sat beside him, breathing hard. "This place," she whispered. "Not just old, it remembers." Logan looked at her. Her skin was glowing slightly in the light. Her scars almost invisible now. "It's reacting to you," he said softly. "Like it knows you." Sierra placed her palm on the crystal. For a moment, the room pulsed with soft light. The warmth increased. Logan felt it too, like the pain in his leg was fading. She turned to him, eyes wide. I don't feel pain," she whispered. "This place heals." They stayed the night there, under the watch of the glowing pillar. Logan rested on the soft moss near the crystal. His body finally relaxed. Sierra stayed close, watching over him. When he stirred in the night, he found her lying beside him again. This time, not out of fear or survival, but trust. She rested her head on his shoulder. He didn't move. Just placed his arm gently around her. The ice above them may have cracked. But down here, something deeper had formed. Not weakness, not duty, but connection. She had caught him when the ice broke, and now she held his heart without even knowing it. Sunrise on another world, the old research outpost stood tall above the cliffs. Half buried in snow, its outer walls frozen and cracked. But inside, it still worked barely. Logan and Sierra reached it after 2 more slow days. The hidden cave had helped heal Logan's leg, but the climb had still taken its toll. Now, they finally had shelter, warmth, food, and quiet for the first time in weeks. They were not running. The main room of the outpost was dusty and dim. Screens flickered. Machines hummed softly. Sierra wandered the corridors like a child in a new world. She touched the cold walls with wonder. Everything was old, but it felt safe. Logan activated the internal systems. He found old energy cells and rerouted the power. Lights came on, doors opened, water flowed. It felt like bringing life to a sleeping place. They made a bed from insulation mats and clean blankets. Sierra laughed when she saw them stacked so high, not ice. She asked playfully, "No ice bed tonight?" Logan chuckled. No ice, no frost, and no more falling through floors. That night, they didn't speak much. They sat near the heater and shared a simple meal. But the silence between them was full of something deeper than words. Logan looked at her across the light. Her skin now glowed softly. Her eyes no longer wide with fear. Her scars were still there, but she didn't hide them anymore. "You look stronger," he said. She smiled. "You made me stronger." "No," Logan replied. "You were strong before you ever found me. I just reminded you." She reached across the blanket and touched his hand. Not trembling this time, not hesitant, just soft and sure. "Then I will remind you too," she whispered. "You are more than soldier." He stared at her. "More than weapon," she added. "More than man who follows rules." Logan looked down. "I broke every rule for you," he said quietly. Sierra leaned closer. "Then maybe some rules are worth breaking." Outside, the night passed slowly. The wind brushed against the building, but inside, everything was still. Warm, calm, real, They lay down side by side on the thick mat. No storm, no danger, no fear. Just breath and closeness. Sierra shifted under the blanket. She wasn't cold anymore. But her heart wanted something else. She moved closer. Until her forehead touched Logan's shoulder. "I used to be afraid of touch," she whispered. "I thought it only came with pain." Logan didn't move. His voice was low and kind. Then, "Let this be different." She placed her hand on his chest. Feeling the slow beat of his heart, it calmed her steady, strong, human sleep. He said softly, "I'll be here," but she didn't sleep right away. Instead, she looked into his eyes and whispered, "Do I belong to you now?" Logan turned to face her. "No," he said gently. "You don't belong to anyone." She blinked, confused. "But if you want," he added, "you can choose to be with me." Sierra smiled, a real smile, warm and wide. She touched his cheek. "I choose." They fell asleep like that, wrapped in blankets. Wrapped in quiet peace. No fear of death, no memories of chains, only the comfort of presence. Two beings, once strangers. Now something more. Morning came, and with its sunlight, soft, golden light peeked over the horizon. Logan opened his eyes and found Sierra already watching the sky through the cracked window. She turned, her face lit by the rising sun. "I never saw sunrise before," she said, "in the labs." "No sky." He sat beside her, placing his arm around her shoulders. "Then watch it with me," he said. Every morning, from now on, she leaned into him, her voice calm, full of hope. "I would like that." They sat in silence, watching. The light grows stronger. For the first time, this frozen planet didn't feel like a trap. It felt like a home. Sierra placed her head on his chest. Not from weakness, not from cold, but because she wanted to, this time. She didn't sneak into his bed. She didn't crawl over him in the dark. She simply lay beside him, and he opened his arms. Because now, they weren't just surviving. They were beginning. Not as soldier and fugitive. Not as human and alien. But as to hearts finding warmth on a world that once only offered ice.